Mexico's Tren Maya project is shaping up to be a massive investment, nearly $30 billion by the time it's done. Stretching almost 1,000 miles across the Yucatan Peninsula, this modern railway promises to supercharge tourism and open up new economic opportunities. And now Belize might just be next. Talks are underway to explore expanding the railway into our backyard, sparking excitement and a few questions about what that could mean for the country.
The idea with Tren Maya is that it will follow the highway. It will go through our highways as opposed to going through but we're just in initial stages, so let's not get ahead of our time or ahead of us.
On Friday, Prime Minister John Briceño was in Mexico for a meeting with President Claudia Sheinbaum. There's still no official word on what was discussed about expanding Tren Maya into Belize. But Church Senator Louis Wade is already backing the idea.
So now that Tren Maya is a brilliant economic idea because it connects Merida, it connects it with Cancun, Tulum, all the way down through to Chetumal, our neighbor. The next logical step is Belize. And so when the discussions started, I became very excited. Wherever the train needs to go, if it's San Pedro, if it's mainland, whatever it is, we need the train, and I have to become an advocate to say we need this kind of development in Belize. Mexico is able to get European as well as American tourists. Tourists from all over the world go to Mexico, and in particular Cancun, which is so very close to us. Why can't they come to Belize?
At the same time, there's growing chatter about China's possible role in funding the Tren Maya project. Earlier this year, a group of U.S. congressmen drew attention, suggesting China might be bankrolling the railway and even calling President Trump to investigate. Their concern is about potential Chinese influence creeping into the Yucatan Peninsula. Well, in a March 2025 press conference, President Sheinbaum stepped in to clear the air.
El recurso con el que se hizo el Tren Maya es público.
The resources used to build the Tren Maya are public. You can see it in the public accounts reports. Everything invested in the Tren Maya is public. The resources from the riverbed and the Mexicans who paid taxes. And that was returned to build the Tren Maya. So there is no Chinese financing. If any company had a fund at some point that was involved, well, that has nothing to do with the financing of the Tren Maya.
Interestingly, one of the companies tapped to kick off the Tren Maya project was China Communications Construction Company, a major Chinese firm that landed a contract to build the early phases. And President Sheinbaum maintains that this is as far as their influence extends. But even if China was funding the project, Prime Minister Briceño says, so what?
Well, if the Americans are prepared to put in the money, they are welcome to do so.
They told Mexico they were when Trump was in 2019, but obviously this whole thing got ahead.
I'll repeat, if they're prepared to put in the money, we'll be happy to get the assistance.
Can you say how this will impact the Taiwan commitment, the commitments you have or Belize has with Taiwan?
Which commitment?
With the influence of China?
No, absolutely nothing. We are very, very strong supporters of Taiwan.
Most of the tall buildings in Belize are Chinese owned. So we're not looking at the future or the potential footprint of China in Belize through Tren Maya. China is already here. Secondly, I am a full supporter of Taiwan, 100%. Riding Tren Maya or supporting Tren Maya has nothing to do with China and its political aspirations.
When asked about the potential impact to Belize's environment, Prime Minister John Briceño explained that the railway would run along Belize's highway, suggesting that the environmental impact will be minimal. PM Briceño says talks are still in the early stages, but Senator Wade believes Belize has the brain power to tackle any environmental concerns.
That is exactly what it is. It is fair, and it is fair mongering, because the train, it uses only a fraction of the pathway in order to move or to build from point A to point B. A little gazelle or a deer or whatever animal you're trying to protect, birds, they can just fly right over, jump right over the rails and move on. It engineering can solve any problem. We can create little areas under the rails, etc., where these animals can continue to flow to ensure that we have these corridors. We have engineers in this country who can engineer around any problem, be it manatee, be it mangroves, be it fish, be it animal, be it the reef. We don't only have environmentalists in this country. We have engineers too.
Right now, it's all just talk. No official commitments have been made between Belize and Mexico on the project. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.